Ladies and gentlemen, it appears that Genshin Impact has come out with quite the new teaser for Nod Cry for version 6.0, going back to a lot of its lore roots to entice the player base with what's coming over the next 12 months. And I'm going to be honest, I feel like this was something that was needed. You can just see over here all of the different new characters. We'll be making sure to look at all of them individually that are coming out. You see things like your Sandrones, your Alices, your Varkas, just a bunch of stuff that the player base has really been excited for, let's just be honest here, years of the game's lifetime. And I think that this was a trailer. I think this was something that was sorely needed because this is like the only bit of Nod Cry that we have been exposed to as players for like the longest time. Sure, we got like a couple of teasers here and there, but this is like, or this was the only unit. And I'm gonna be real, this was one of the weakest starts that a region could have because I don't even think anybody wants this character. I don't think anybody even cares about this character. And she's also coming with a literal pay-to-play mechanic in the form of upgrading an elemental reaction to actually be usable, Electrocharge. So off to a bit of a rough start when it comes to the entirety of 6.0. Why don't we go ahead and see how Genshin Impact, how its teasers are saving it.
You wish to hear a story of the moon? That tale begins long, long ago.
Mister! Nefa's starting her story already!
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people are very excited for this character being playable either. Yeah, she's been advertised a lot. I think she showed up a bunch in the 5.8 trailer. Yeah, it is what it is.
Thanks for the heads up.
And we got Giga Chad over here. I wonder who he is. Okay, they got like...
Oh, the moon's a long way off.
I bet that character's kit that just left the screen, their kit is going to involve stealing things from people. Yeah, I know a lot of people are saying other stuff. I'm pretty sure she's going to end up stealing things from the enemies. If she's not a thief of some kind, I'm basically going to be, I think that every single bit of like thematic kit design, like skill design, all of that, it's just not there anymore. She has to have something involving stealing in her kit.
Long way off. We might go hungry, but at least we have plenty of time.
That's Encore's VA too. Hey, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, I've heard this voice in at least 3 to 4 different gacha games by now. That is Encore's VA.
Huh? Hey kid, that headpiece of yours is pretty unique. Who designed it? Could you hook me up?
Is that a dude? I think that's a dude.
In that era, there was no boundary between life and death.
Is my computer laggy?
Willpower flowed freely among countless beings.
Does it look like this for everybody else?
Primordial being that once ruled this planet made 3 moons rise from the earth.
Yeah, it was my stream crashing. Okay, I guess it was just the art style.
It was not.
That was a creative choice for sure. I feel like the immediate reaction for most people is that their bitrate is low upon seeing that part. Maybe that's what they were going for, but I feel like it wasn't.
Not until the funerary year that the primordial voice once again cried out in the darkness.
Okay. That is just like Dark Nouvelette. Wait, literally, that's just like Shadow Realm Nouvelette. What is...
That the primordial voice...
Actually, though, this guy looks like a reskin. He looks like a Nouvelette custom mod.
Out in the darkness.
My lady.
The Frostmoon Scions again.
And that's one of the Harbingers, I think.
A laughably futile rebellion.
Oh, pale white Frostmoon, I, your loyal emissary, and scion of Hyperborea,
Is that you, know?
beseech you to cast down your gaze from the celestial dome above. May your gentle tears pierce the frigid night and grant us, the forsaken and forgotten, your guiding light.
You didn't come here for the story, did you?
Finished already, huh?
No. It's just a greater storyteller than myself has come.
One thing I'm noticing from all of these new units is that theme surrounding like their design, there seems to be no theme at all. I guess one thing that some people could find cool, or I guess one thing that some people could find confusing, is that nobody seems to be like visually of like the same faction. And it's like, it's kind of wild how differential they are. It looks like nobody's like from Nod Cry, or like Nod Cry itself doesn't have a theme. And I don't think that's an issue. I don't think that's a problem, right? Because Nod Cry came out of nowhere too. So it almost feels more appropriate that it seems like there's no like direction for where all the units are coming from. Like we got a dude in like, you know, the whole adventurer getup. We got whatever, this whole sort of like, this looks more like a Natlan character than the Natlan characters. Right over here, she actually looks like she's from Natlan. She looks like she's from Natlan more than 90% of the Natlan roster, if I'm gonna be real with you. Maybe this is like some sort of way to save the designs.
Just a greater storyteller than myself has come.
More like Sumeru? I could see what you're talking about with Sumeru over here, but this to me straight up looks like an Aztec sort of design.
Storyteller than myself has come.
All right, what's this?
Now,
She just looks Russian. Yeah, she looks Russian.
beyond the moonlight's reach, an ancient shadow brandishes its hunting claws, taking aim at the stars.
You're right. I came here for the moon.
Yo, is he gonna be a new model? Because I'm gonna be real with you, he looks a lot bigger in all of the cinematics than any of like the potential model types available in the game. I'm pretty sure he's at least 2 Zhonglis wide. I think he's at least 2 Zhonglis wide over here. This is kind of like, if they don't make a new model for him, this is going to be one of the most disappointing actual releases, actual like executions they've had. Surely they have the resources, they have the manpower, they have the ability to, after 5 years of development, actually come out with a new skeleton and have, you know, not the entire cast looking like a K-pop band. Daggers. Hey, is that a new weapon type? Hey, let's get ready. Is this supposed to tell us that her blood is like silver? Yeah, she just cut herself, right? What is that shit? Brother, it's Yuno. That's what I said before. Okay, I assume this is the Abyss. That's pretty much all it could be at this point.
I'm afraid you have the wrong person. Now, be gone.
All right, that was Dark Nouvelette. Okay, Shorekeeper. The foot shot intro. I'm sorry, wait. That's actually what is that what Shorekeeper's arm like looks like?
In the water, the future mirrors the past. The veil of lies is slipping. Time is short. The moon's fall.
What the hell even? Wait, straight up. I'm sorry. I gotta watch this real fast. I just gotta pull up a video of the Shorekeeper convene animation, bro. Where is it?
The Shorekeeper. This name suits me well enough.
Bro, is she wearing the same damn thing?
My purpose and drive, they only exist because of you.
Okay, I'm not saying that there's necessarily a huge issue, but like, this is what I'm literally reminded of just seeing this part of the trailer, bro. Wait, she even got like the field of flowers and everything, and then like the laced up arm. Wait, let me just see. It just pretend that's a butterfly.
Time is short. The moon's fall is nigh.
I'm just saying that is really similar. I'm not saying it's straight up plagiarism or anything like that, but I mean, like, y'all saw that convene animation. Y'all saw like the hand. One was a butterfly, the other's, I guess, like a flower petal. Well, hey, at least they know what quality looks like. All right, and this is the true star, right? The true highlight.
Last. And things look even messier than last time.
I think that's like Klee's thing, right? This was Alice.
Well, Miss Alice,
Well, that's a great way to answer the question.
shall we begin?
There's no rush, and I'd like to catch up with an old friend first. And you, young man?
Let's part ways here.
That guy
I
is...
have an old score of my own to settle.
Bro, hat guy just shows up? Holy moly. Look at the water. What's in the water?
I have an old score of my own to settle.
Yeah, I see the people. There's nothing in the water, bro. His reflection...
I have an old score of my...
Oh, you're saying it shows the purple version in there. Oh, wait, I think I'm covering it. That's supposed to be his old purple version. Cool.
my own to settle.
All right, that appears to be it for this trailer over here. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I would say I'm pleasantly surprised by all of the stuff that we saw in here, right? But the thing is that at the end of the day, I'm just worried about what they're going to do with those units that they managed to build up all the hype for. Because as we're all familiar, right, that whole lunar electrocharge mechanic, and we saw that the moon was like a gigantic focus over here. It's like something that's in like every single shot. Are these going to be the units that essentially turn into Genshin 2, where the lunar versions of all of these different reactions is what's supposed to be how you now play the game? And right now, I am just concerned that every single one of these units is going to have some sort of lunar reaction, and instead of using the excitement of the trailer, the excitement of their design, their story integration, right, and how anticipated these units have been for years, they're gonna use this bullshit lunar charged whatever to sell them instead of, you know, everything else that went on into this. Because that's what Nod Cry, the Song of the Welkin Moon itself, that's what it seems like it is all about. And so that's just gonna be like my little bit kind of like holding me back from being fully invested, because Hoyo's kind of already played their card when it comes to how they're selling the new region's characters from here on out. They did it with Night Soul in Natland. They started with like Numa, Pneumonia, and Oisa in Fontaine, and I think they're going to kick it into overdrive with this because now they're adjusting the reactions themselves. So that'll be that. Why don't we just go ahead and start taking a look at some of the characters now that are going to be released and give some of our takes on their initial design. I think that these are all going to be units that we saw. All right, so we got Nicole Reen of the Hexen Circle, codename M or N. That's what I assume it's saying over here. I had no idea she was a Hex and Circle mage. Like I said, she kind of looks like Russian Yang Yang. She actually does look like Russian Yang Yang. I assume that she'll be like a healer or some type. Yeah, like she's like Kartithia and Yang Yang combined into one unit. They even have like the birthmark in the middle of their forehead. Looks a little bit inspired to me. Next up, we got Aino. And like I said before, I don't know if there's a lot of people looking excited or, you know, being excited for this unit. She actually looks like a ZZZ character with all the different colors that she has going on. She almost looks like Nicole and her Bang Boo did the fusion ha into like one thing. And next, probably one of the main people that people are looking forward to in this series, in this version update, we got Varka. Yeah, like I said before, this guy looks almost too big from at least how he's designed and how he's appeared in all the trailers. He looks almost too big to be using any of the existing playable models. And so if he doesn't get some sort of like upgrade or buff or like a quality of life to like his visual appearance, this is going to be the biggest miss ever. Because clearly they've taken shortcuts with everything else in his design. I hope they worked on a new model, because right over here, all this coat and texture shit, brother, this is just Adventurine. This is Adventurine reskinned or remodeled. At the very least, give him a new type of model. If he's like running around in some Ito shit or some Ryodzly shit, brother, you already stole the design from HSR. Let's just not be let's not be completely lazy here. All right, so that'll be, I guess, that faction, if these are supposed to be factions. Let's take a look at the next set of characters. We got Jehoda. And Jehoda, I think, like that sort of like thief-looking unit that appears to be voiced by Encore. So I actually do hope they have like a good number of lines during the quest, because Encore, as we're all pretty familiar with in a bunch of games, she is or has one of the better VAs, I think, in the business. And so they probably do give her the most like wordy roles out of most of the units on the roster. So we'll see. Her design is also looking pretty ZZZ-esque. And if you just look at how all of these different characters are presented, she looks like traditional Genshin. He just looks like traditional Genshin, a little bit of HSR. She looks like ZZZ. She looks like ZZZ. And when we get back to Durin, who I think is supposed to be important. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this guy's supposed to be important. Yeah, we're just back to Genshin Impact all over again. So very, very big blend of aesthetics over here. I'm not sure how much of a fan I am about this guy being a femboy, but it is what it is, right? I assume they're supposed to be friends with Venti. They're supposed to be friends with Venti, right? So I guess it makes sense that they both look like this. All right. And then we got Sandrone. I'm not gonna lie, this is like one of the most boring characters I think I've ever seen. This has to be one of the most uninspired designs, I think, in the game, to be honest. And I think part of it is her being designed so early on in Genshin's lifespan. And so I guess they felt some sort of need to kind of like stay true to the original character that they put in. But I'm gonna be real, she looks like an NPC. Hopefully she gets some sort of upgrades. I think she's incredibly boring, really, really, really stale. The robot is also looks like kind of dog shit. I think Svarog looks cooler. It's like, I just think the design is too dated, and Hoyoverse is too willing to stick to their initial first drafts on how they looked. Now, let's get into some more of the exciting characters. We got Lauma, Elf Girl, Yuno clone, bit of a stag as well, looks like a night elf from World of Warcraft. That is, to me, the #1 inspiration. A night elf like Tyrande Whisperwind from World of Warcraft. That, to me, is the vibe that she's giving, and it definitely is a bit of a unique feel for Genshin, but it also has like that whole sort of like mystical foresty sort of aesthetic, which I think directly contradicts with like these main ones that we're seeing over here. Now we got Nefer, who has a, you know, like I said before, right? Some people are saying this is Sumeru. I can definitely see where they're coming from over here. I think this is like an Aztec Natlanese sort of design, but she is, again, right, another unique twist to the roster. I'm glad that this is something that they're deciding to do. They're looking to explore some of the more, I would say, like cultural aesthetics, and I feel like they did a pretty faithful job with this one, right? We don't have any like weird ass designs like Jalonin or Mavuika when it comes to like representing culture, where they just look like modern day either like DJs or BDSM queens. This, to me, is a good representation. I like it. And now we got Flynn's. Yeah, this guy is like, I'm not gonna lie, this guy just looks stupidly edgy. Like, he almost comes off as like a caricature. He's almost like a meme with how like overtly dark and broody he looks. You guys have probably seen like that one anime, right? Where the guy goes like, I am atomic, and then starts blowing shit up. Yeah, that it's just giving me those vibes right now. He's like actually a fucking nerd, bro. Like this guy is, I feel like he's a straight up nerd. But hey, I hope he really like leans into it in his design. I hope he's like 110% in terms of like how he's characterized, and he just stays super edgy the entire time. And I think he's a character that'll work out well. And now for the big ones, right? We're gonna end with a bit of a bang. We're gonna have Mini Shorekeeper with black hair. I refuse to believe anything else when it comes to this unit. She is so Shorekeeper coded, it's ridiculous. And I think the only way that Hoyoverse could potentially make it better, or actually save themselves from the accusations, is to just go all in. Make Columbina also like a bit of a robot, and also make it so that Columbina has known the Traveler for like thousands of years. Yeah, just do something like that. Just go 100%, go all of the way, and I would love to see how the Genshin player base reacts. I bet they're gonna love her. And now, we got, perhaps the biggest surprise of all, Alice showing up. Because I think that there's a bit of an important discussion to have regarding Alice, right? It's like the whole myth of playable characters can't have like children or relationships or anything like that. Because as we're all aware, Klee is the daughter of Alice. And for a daughter to be created, there has to be a husband. Unless Alice has discovered in Teviot, right? The mythical process of like cloning or like asexual reproduction. So this might be Hoyoverse breaking like all of the norms when it comes to this, but I'm pretty sure the realization is going to be is that Klee is a byproduct of like mitosis. That's probably the lore explanation they're going to go down. Otherwise, Dewey's probably going to have 2 or 3 more assassination attempts by crazy rabid CN players coming after him. Yeah, because I don't think they want their new big Aboba witch waifu to have a husband. That would probably piss some players off. So I'm excited to see how this one develops moving forward, because this might be the most controversial one of them all. This could piss a lot of people off. So yeah, that'll be that for our breakdown, our analysis, whatever you want to call this. I am, again, because of the monetization practices of this company, I feel like I can't afford to let myself get too excited, because that just means that you have a further way to fall. And I like the design of a lot of these units. I like the voice acting, all of that. And there's a lot to look forward to for sure. But there's also a lot to be anxious about, right? There's a lot to be worried about. And there's a lot of room for stuff to get ruined by the absolutely insanely greedy gameplay design of these developers. Because all of these things that they're doing to fix the game, think you're a Escoffiers fixing freeze, think you're a Nefas fixing electrocharge. Instead of fixing the game in a way that feels good to players and lets everybody access it, they're fixing the game through the gacha. And that's how you play the new real Genshin Impact. And the thing is that when they do a good job on the design, and then they proceed to weigh it down, and they can't just use the design and the story to sell the units, that's just not something that I'm going to support. That's not something that I'm going to talk very well about. And it's something that they've been doing for years at this point. And so we'll just wait and see. Maybe Hoyoverse will subvert all of my expectations, and they'll like call it quits after Lunar charged with this unit, but we'll just have to see. So yeah, that'll be that. That'll be my reaction to this entire new reveal and the new trailer. Hopefully that's given you, the insight that yes, it's good, but you always gotta take it with a grain of salt when it's coming from Hoyoverse. Let me know what you all think. Peace.